breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey folks, excuse me. Oh man, it is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I'm your host, Dennis Sert. It's good to be back. Yeah, took a little hiatus, but now I'm back and happy to be here. Excited to get back on that grind. Okay, we got some good stories to talk about today. We're going to talk about OpenAI is shutting down Sora, its AI video generator, and that's going to be sort of our flagship story here. We're going to talk about Meta and YouTube found negligent in landmark social media addiction case. Meta lays off 700 employees while rewarding top executives from the New York Times. The AI skills gap is here, says AI company, and power users are pulling ahead. We're going to talk about, excuse me, all of that today. Excuse me. We're going to talk about all of that today. And then we're going to go into my commentary and we're going to have a good time. Before we do, make sure to make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Daily Ledger Show. Share these shorts with your friends, reels, TikToks with your friends, and should be a good time. Let me pull an Audible here to do a quick mic check. Some TikToks with your friends. Good, looking good. Okay, and let's get right into it. Let's start out with this. OpenAI is shutting down Sora, its AI video generator. The startup said it would discontinue Sora after 3 months after signing a multi-year deal to bring Disney characters to the service. So what happened? On March 24th, so yesterday / the day before, OpenAI announced it's shutting excuse me. It's shutting down its Sora consumer app API and related video generated platform, along with its $1 billion Disney partnership and character licensing deal. Now, how crazy is that? OpenAI did not give a reason for shutting down Sora, but the decision appears to be part of the company's efforts to focus and streamline its operations as it prepares for its initial public offering as early as this year. So, OpenAI didn't outright say the reason why they killed their Sora video generation platform rather. However, the main speculation as to why they did that is due to unsustainable compute / GPU costs and basically terrible economics and retention. OpenAI, as we know, is preparing to IPO, or in other words, go public in 2026. So Q4 2026. In fact, it's in a race with Anthropic to do so. So reportedly, they've been killing their low ROI products. And so this is one of the things to go. Apparently, it had poor long-term engagement. So while initially going viral, hitting number 1 on the App Store when it originally came out, one poll saw it at number 165 just earlier this month. So that's not very good, going from number 1 to number 165. So it seems that OpenAI is doing a strategic pivot to enterprise, which has been the chatter recently, that they've been going to enterprise. They did the big Star Alliance or whatever a couple months ago, I think in February. They're shifting to robotics, AGI, and then this IPO prep. Some say there's also political reasons for the move, and I think that's also something that plays in here, but uh, especially due to the timing. But we're not going to talk about that here. Just one second, I'm going to pull an audible. Thanks. So, anyways, my Instagram Reels, by the way, has just absolutely been flooded with OpenAI Sora videos for the longest time. Really, ever since they came out with it, just Q4 last year. So, yeah, it seems like Sora was a powerful tool in shifting political opinions as well. And I suspect that was actually a major role in that as well, um, in addition to the sort of bad engagement numbers. So, anyways, Meta and YouTube found negligent in landmark social media addiction case. A jury found the companies harmed a young user with design features that were addictive and led her to mental health distress. So, this is the KGM case that we've been following for the past few months now. Um, as we know, a couple of the other companies settled. I believe it was Snapchat, just off the top of my head, settled just months ago. Um, and the ones that decided to go to court were Meta and YouTube. Apparently, Meta and YouTube lost. That was kind of as expected because public opinion is kind of towards KGM and mental health. My opinion, I think that mental health is something that is entirely controllable. You know, they say there's a mental health crisis. I think that um, mental health, as well as your physical, like your body physique, are within your power to control. And I think to think otherwise is propaganda meant um, meant to incentivize you to essentially just buy medical products. And we'll leave it at that. I may need one right now. You know what I'm saying? A medical product. Um, Meta lays off 700 employees while rewarding top executives from the New York Times. The job cuts and a new stock program for executives come as Meta continues to shift its focus to artificial intelligence. Meta on Wednesday laid off around 700 employees. A person with knowledge of the company said the latest downsizing as the Silicon Valley giant shifts its priorities towards AI. Less than 24 hours later, the company unveiled a new stock program for 6 top executives that could increase compensation for them by as much as 929 million each over the next 5 years. Yeah. So here's the thing. You know how Sora just got killed? It's a product, but still, all of these companies are thinking the same. They're killing off essentially low ROI assets, right? So they're laying off employees who don't do enough PRs or pull requests or updates to the code base. And they're killing off their products that don't have high engagement. And that kind of relates just specifically with Meta to this Reuters article, as well as just this general story from last week or the week before, perhaps. But on March 13th, Meta planning sweeping layoffs as AI costs mount. Right. So it seems like every other day there's a new big tech company that is announcing sweeping layoffs. So it happens that this New York Times article is a very concrete number. This Reuters article is just discussing like a general vibe or a plan. So that's kind of interesting. You know, a few years ago, like in 2022, Fang used to be kind of the gold standard for software engineering. And now it's like they don't even want you. You know what I mean? Kudos to the people who got in, but aside from that, it really is a rat race. It really is a dog eat dog world. Excuse me. The AI skills gap is here, says AI company, and power users are pulling ahead from TechCrunch. Anthropic's latest research suggests that while AI is rapidly changing the way work gets done, it hasn't meaningfully eliminated jobs, at least not yet. And then it goes into it. It basically talks about how um, power users of AI are able to have higher status than those who don't use AI. And I agree with that. I've sort of been interacting with people who don't use AI at all. Um, essentially, just people my age in Boston that I've met recently, and I noticed they don't have Claude or ChatGPT installed on their phone, or Gemini or Grok or anything, and it's really weird. And I asked why, and it's whatever. But like, I mean, how can you choose to you know, essentially disassociate yourself from AI and what's to come? Like, this is definitely the future. And my response to that is, well, that is what separates, person A from person B, right? And you can kind of think about the differences of between person A and person B without going too much into detail here, but I'm just saying that you kind of have to do what you have to do, and you have to do as much as you can. And you have to do whatever you can in order to win. None of us can have the capris to say, well, you know what, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. And the minute you start doing that, that's when you lose. That's when you become a failure. That's when you become a loser. None of us have the clout to be able to have the capris to say, well, I've decided that I'm not going to do this. At this point, me on the other end of that, it's like, as a person who does everything and everything in order to stay ahead, I actually encourage others to not be like me and to instead kind of give up and to instead have that capris. And that way I pull ahead even more. And that's actually what this article is kind of talking about, how power users of AI are pulling ahead. Right. So we're gonna we're kind of talking about the same thing. So, anyways, oh man. All right. I think we're gonna leave it there. It's good to be back, man. Good stream. I'll see you guys around. Peace.